Giselle, and Eva's like,
A lot of
bitch.
people think it's Eva.
Yeah, and Eva said it wasn't her, and I think she even said it wasn't her. So, like, by process of elimination, people have come to Candy. I don't know. I hate all this behind the scenes. Like, just
Say who it is. Say it.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, that was really the whole story. Tamar also, she alludes to, like, I think politically influential people. So that led a lot of people to believe that it wasn't Candy and Todd originally, but Eva denied it. So now people think that it is Candy and Todd, because I'm sure Candy and Todd probably have a lot of local influence in Georgia, to, in Atlanta, in and around Atlanta too.
I think Candy Burris, I'm
Does
sorry, is
it?
fucking major. I think, like, this
She
whole thing
is.
about, like, where people are like, oh, she's well known in Atlanta. Not really. Like, she won the Masked Singer. Candy is like, I mean, that doesn't mean that Candy is just, I don't know. I put Candy, let me go back. Candy to me, Larsa, Lisa Rinna, there's people, I think Candy is bigger than the show. She's bigger than the show. She keeps getting asked back every year. Are we going to fire Candy? Are we going to fire Candy? I think, you talk about Andy loving Giselle. Andy loves Erika. Andy loves Teresa. It doesn't mean you're going to keep your job, but don't hurt. Andy loves Candy, period. I've seen it. I've seen the dynamic. He loves her, period. The end. She elevates the show. She's bigger than the show. I'm not saying she's the most, to me, I don't know. It's not in a good or bad. I think, I'm like a huge Candy fan. I loved her on this podcast. You also have Juicy Joe posting his new digs, his digs down there in the Bahamas.
Well, how did you feel? Juicy Joe was on Teresa's podcast, Namaste, recently. And, well, first of all, I mean, I know we're talking a lot of Todd Chrisley, because it's interesting. Teresa also gives Todd Chrisley and Julie Chrisley advice going to jail, but they talk about that on the podcast with Joe. And Joe essentially says, you never go to trial against the feds, because the feds are always going to win. And it was really dumb of Julie and Todd to go to trial against the feds. And basically, if Todd had pled guilty to begin with, and Julie, they would have gotten probably about the same sentence that Juicy Joe got, which I think was 2 years? Didn't he do 2 or 3?
Yeah, I think right
I
there.
mean, I think Todd, I mean, I don't know how much Joe was on the hook.
Didn't someone else say that you never go to trial against the feds? Didn't someone say that? Yeah. I'm a lawyer. Let me just say it again, okay? You never are going to win against the feds. 100%. You're not.
But Todd is a narcissist. Todd is a nut job. He's a complete narcissist. Jen Shah was going to go through the same thing, just somehow, according to new reports, basically when Jen and her attorneys got all the evidence laid out, everybody who was going to testify against her, it was like, whether it was Jen or the attorneys were like, there's no way, like, you have to plead, like, you are going to lose big time. So
what else did Juicy Joe say?
So Joe basically said they were stupid for doing that. They're going to go to jail for a very long time, which we already know. And then Teresa was asked when she was in LA by paparazzi what advice she would give.
But she was not happy when the word jail sets that bitch off. Which, I mean, I don't know. I understand it and I don't understand. But did you see that little video? The minute they said, like, knowing Teresa, you could see the. That's why I love Teresa, though. She is authentic. She can't control herself. So when she goes from 0 to 100, I love that, because it's a real emotion. But go on.
Well, she essentially says to Todd and Julie, get involved at the prison. She became involved in the kitchen. She cooked, she made meals. She said the food actually wasn't that bad. She basically told them how, learn something, set goals. She wrote her book. So the Chrisley, and there's all kinds of rumors the Chrisleys have been, a documentary is coming. I'm sure Todd's going to write a book. I'm sure Julie's going to write a book. But basically, and make sure line up family visits, that make sure your family's coming every single week, or friends are coming, so you have something to look forward to, and try to basically embrace it mentally. It's going to be hard as hell, but you have to try to mentally embrace that you're going to be there, which I think for somebody as delusional as Todd and Jen Shah, I think they see this as continuing their fame. I don't think because if they truly cared, if they weren't narcissists, they would put their children before. A lot of people would go, okay, I can't be a part of a Ponzi scheme because going to like hurting my spouse and my children would be even worse. Todd doesn't think about his kids or his wife at all. This is about Todd.
Chase did an interview on Savannah's podcast, and he's like, listen, Savannah, you got to stop living for our daddy. I mean, look, you saw it on the show. Like, it was all about Todd. I mean, you had to do what Todd wanted. Yeah, no, I agree with you. Listen, and also at one point, someone told me this. I even talked about it on some podcast. Like, at one point, I thought Juicy Joe, and I kid you not when I say this, I thought Juicy Joe was doing consulting for people that were going to federal that were in the system in reality TV. That's what he should do. That's my career advice for him. Apparently, I'm like Bethany Frankel, and some days I know it all. But like, I've said, like, when I say Jen Shah, I wasn't joking, should have called Joe. Should have, like, people should just say what is expected. Like, what is this gonna, just the day-to-day, like, right. Oh, the food's not that bad. Okay, I feel better. Oh, so all that violence you hear about, that's not real. Like, oh, so you can get, your hair colored or dyed at the salon. Like, I would just want to know the day-to-day human things. And wait, do you have to work 17 hours? I don't know the answers, as I would just want to know. I agree with you. Like, shockingly, that's not the worst advice by Teresa. I also think Teresa's a little confused after she dropped her book. She was like, it's a girl. Your advice for the 1-year plan is, he just told you 8 years. And like, her advice was a little off because she was talking about as if it was like, a 9-month sentence. But yeah, you have to make that your new norm and just like adopt it. Yeah, I'm thinking you might be right. Like, Todd and Jen might thrive in jail. They might.
Oh, I think they 100%.
Yeah, they might just make it like Todd's gonna be like, listen, now I got $3 from the comic from the whatever, from the wages. Now if you go do this for me, I'll give you $1. I don't need to eat today. I'm on a diet anyway, because they say Gucci looks better on thin girlfriends. So Todd might be having, and same thing with Jen. Jen will be like, listen, now mind you, if you're behaving poorly in jail and you're bribing people and giving out wages and having them do things for you, I don't know that line of like, but yeah, they might thrive. You're right. But that's what I advise for Juicy Joe. I think he should start a consulting business for reality stars that are going to prison, right? Do we talk about my statement that you've called me out on about Kim Kardashian? No, all I'm saying is, I'm not, maybe she shouldn't be president, but when Kim gave that interview about like, was hard co-parenting, I don't know, like, you could argue, because since we're not getting along today on anything, like, the Kardashians control everything. Like, I mean, that's why, I mean, their show is every word is approved, every edit. This is not Beverly Hills. There's no surprises. They're now putting out exactly how they want to be represented.